Oh, hi there, traveler. Pull us here up at the bar. I'll be with you in just a moment. So, made a decision? What can I get you? Coffee? Tea? House special? You could always stick around. Never know what you'll find at the tavern. Hi, I'm Eve Handyside and I use any pronouns.
And I'm Phoenix Arden, I use they them pronouns.
And welcome back to Talking in the Tavern!
Yay! We're back! Ooh, and we're spooky!
We are here today to talk about the Monster Mash book tag, created by the restricted section.
Yes.
Very apt.
Exactly. We like a book tag on Talkin in the Tavern, and we wanted
They're
to find
fun.
an appropriately spooky one because
Spooky book.
'tis the season. Of course, this episode isn't coming out on Halloween, but our book club episode for this month will be going out on Halloween, so
Is coming out.
that's fun too.
So fun. Yeah. It just goes through everything, kind of like bookish, Halloween, spooky questions. We'll answer them as best we can.
Each of the prompts is a line from the song. So
Monster Mash.
we will have to resist the
Monster
urge to
Mash.
constantly
Monster
sing the
Mash.
song.
It was a graveyard smash, he did the mash. Oh, sorry.
Because otherwise this episode is just going to be half us singing and half the actual book stuff. And nobody wants the
And-
first half of that, so...
And warning, there's a song question. I'm not gonna be able to stop singing. I'm sorry.
I'm not asking you to stop, just not to sing too much.
I make no promises.
Okay.
Let's just jump right into the tag, why don't we?
Yeah, let's.
I was working in the lab late one night. What's a book that kept you up at night?
So I've got two answers for this one, because
I only have one.
there's two different types of a book keeping me up late, right?
Yeah.
There's, this book is too spooky, and it's making me unable to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I don't want to put this book down, so I'm just going to stay up and keep reading.
Yeah.
So, for the first one, I have put Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle.
Very spooky.
Yeah, I had to stop reading it when it got too dark, because... And by too dark, I mean literally, like, the room was dark, not the book was getting too dark. Although that was also true.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was too spooky. It was too spooky for my tiny little brain.
I mean, it does have a lot of, like, death, gore, and demons in it. So... Yeah, fair enough. And, like, vomiting flies and stuff. So, yeah, fair
it's
enough.
just like,
you can't
it's
read it at
creepy.
night.
It's creepy
Yeah.
vibes. And I don't read a lot of horror. So when I do, it, like, hits a bit harder because I'm not, like, immune to it in the way that, it's not like I've, when people take, like, little tiny bits of poison all the time so that when they get poisoned, they're
Yeah.
immune. I'm not like that with
Yeah.
horror. I'm, like, super vulnerable. If I was a Pokemon, I would be vulnerable to horror type. And then for a book that kept me up late because I didn't want to put it down, obviously this has happened a lot, but the one I want to specifically talk about is called How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu.
That sounds familiar.
I've probably told you about it before.
Is that the creepy cover with all the children?
No.
No. I'm like, oh, I love it.
No. So How High We Go in the Dark is not, like, a horror book, just to be clear. A lot of my books on this list aren't horror, because, I don't read a lot of horror. But basically, it is a collection of, I guess they're short stories, but they're all set in the same world, and they're all chronological. And it starts with... Keep in mind, this came out at, like, the start of 2022. It starts with an archaeologist in the Arctic who finds a perfectly preserved like caveman person in the ice.
Ooh.
And when they like start investigating her, they discover that she's carrying like this ancient virus, and then the virus spreads, and there's like this whole global pandemic, and then each story from there is like a little story of like humanity and like hope and rebuilding and all this. It's really good. I loved it. And it was just one of those ones where I was like, I just want to keep reading.
That is weirdly giving it the vibe of Wives Under the Sea. I don't know why, but it just sounds like it.
I could see that.
It's mainly because of ice and water.
Yeah. No,
because that's also a weird horror.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I'm talking about that one next.
Oh yeah.
But yes, How We Go in the Dark. I would really recommend it. It's really like hopeful sci-fi dystopia, but in like a very positive sort of uplifting sort of way.
That's very cute. That's definitely not what I thought it was.
No creepy children on the cover here.
I literally just thought it was the creepy child book that's murderous, and I was like, oh no.
So, what did you put for a book that kept you up at night, Eve?
I can't remember the last time a horror book like really, really spooked me at night, because I read Camp Damascus at night. I had a great... but it was A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher.
Oh.
I couldn't read it at night. I could only read it in the afternoon when it was like semi-bright outside. Like, or like if I was in public. Because I don't know what it was about these like, for context, these like, I can't remember her name, but this girl goes home to visit her mother who's stuck in her old grandmother's house, and there's something not quite right, and there's vultures everywhere. Because seemingly someone down the street owns them. They don't. And it was just that entire like whole thing of being watched that I am very creeped out about. I cannot stand it when people use like eye imagery, because it just makes me feel and feel like watched, and like something's right. Like, you know, the shadows in like the corner of your eye, you always think something's there.
Like that's when you're like out on a walk and you're alone and it gets dark and you start convincing yourself that there's like something on the path behind you, like watching.
Exactly.
Or like off in the shadows to the side. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that is the spookiest thing. I agree.
Exactly. This book did exactly that, and it creeped me the hell out. This book's fantastic, but it creeped me the hell out. It wasn't even that scary, and it was just like, there's someone watching me. It was very, very icky. Icky spooky.
Icky speaky.
Icky speaky. It's not even, it wasn't even that scary, and the vultures just kind of like creeped me out. Because like Camp Damascus, I was fine reading it at night. I finished it at night. It was a good time. I was fine with the vomiting of flies and everything, but I can't stand eyeballs. Okay. Can't
Clearly,
do it.
you're just more horror tolerant than I am.
Well, am I?
You know,
I get creeped out by the eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Eyeballs are creepy.
It's probably because my trauma from the Magnus Archives.
This means nothing to me because I've never listened.
You will listen to it eventually. I will make you. You will be indoctrinated into the cult that is the Magnus Archives.
Do you want to start another podcast where it's just you and me, and we like listen to an episode of the Magnus Archives and then discuss it? And
Absolutely.
I'm the new person who hasn't listened to it, and you're the one who has.
And there's me shitposting about it. Yes.
Okay. Anything else for that question?
Yes. No, I only had one for that because you know.
Because you're boring.
Yeah, because I'm a basic bitch. But I don't read. Spooky books are fine. They don't creep me out intensely.
Okay. So part 2 is My Eyes Beheld an Eerie Sight. Which is, what's the weirdest or creepiest shit you've ever read in a book?
I have a paragraph of notes for this.
Go ahead. I'll just sit here and nod.
It's
and
one
go, every so often.
It's one book, and I read it this year a couple months ago. It was The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Naw. The whole book is so eerie. It's 100 pages. It's about a murderous mermaid and her plague doctor like partner. They're in love, and let me tell you, the book has kids hunting other kids to the death. And then when the kid is caught, you get a graphic scene of them cutting up the kid and, like, I can't remember if they eat part of them or if it's just insinuated, but it was cannibalism of children and children murdering other children. It was so EP creepy, and it's this main character, the mermaid, watching them do it as well, because it's like a tribal cult of young children.
Oh no.
Being led by these kind of like 3 kind of witch doctor-y people, and like it's really prettily written, but it was just so. It was the carnivorous mermaid who has like a want for sun-dried like body parts. Everyone is eating one another. It's a constant loop of cannibalism, and it's the weirdest thing I have read ever, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
It sounds it. Yeah.
And there's a sequel I need to read like immediately. Because I want to know about more of the cannibalism. Because I want to know, you know, them chomping and slicing and chomping on all these body parts. I wanna get back in there. It was so weird, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Especially because I think the kids are like immortal as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just layers upon layers of weird shit.
Yeah. So they're like eternal children, like Peter Pan, but cannibalism.
Mm-hmm. It's because like the ones that are hunted to the death are they don't really die, but like they're the ones that kind of run away from camp or have done something bad to the cult.
I see.
And then it's weird as hell, and I love it.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have gone first because I don't know how to follow that now, but
I read weird stuff, okay? It was great.
Come
on, hit me with it.
I put Our Wives Under the Sea.
Okay.
For this one. By Julia Armfield, of course. Because for me, the whole thing, spoilers, obviously, for Our Wives Under the Sea.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that the main character's partner was on this deep sea expedition. She comes back and she's weird, right? She's different. And she spends all this time in the bath and everything. And basically, it's because she's like, when they were on this deep sea expedition, they saw like a giant fuck off creepy underwater squid thing, and she looked into this thing's eye, and now she's like turning into like a water creature, and she starts like losing her skin, and then her body starts going translucent, and it's creepy and excellent and creepy. And as somebody who really, really doesn't like deep ocean shit, it really got to me, you know? Like, I am not a huge fan. If I'm swimming, I better be able to see the bottom or touch the bottom. Preferably both. If I can't see the bottom of whatever I'm swimming in, and I can't touch the bottom of whatever I'm swimming in, I am deeply, deeply uncomfortable. So for me, this was like really creepy. And then she starts like turning into this like, I don't know, she starts like losing her humanity, and it gets very like creepy, and then she eventually her wife takes her to the fucking sea and just like lets her out, and then she just dissolves into the sea.
That's weirdly giving like Lovecraft.
It is quite Lovecrafty, but in a less racist way.
In a more homosexual, less racist way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It does have sort of like that sort of vibe of like
Cthulhu.
Some sort of weird deep sea entity thing that
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Deep seas are creepy.
Yeah.
That's like one of my biggest fears is like the deep ocean.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Not a fan.
No.
Not helped by like, you know, all those movies about creatures in the deep sea eating people and shit.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like that Jason Statham one.
Oh god, yeah.
Which I kind of wanted to watch just because I bet it's really funny, even though it's probably not trying to be, because it's Jason Statham.
Yeah.
But then I was also like, I know that this is just going to freak me out because I don't like the deep sea.
No. It's the fishes down there. Like, what is it, like the ghost octopus? With those really long tentacles.
Yeah.
And they're like translucent. Oh, no.
It's still like, it's when you see those pictures and it's like, you can see like the seafloor and then it just stops and there's just like this big black pit. And I'm like, anything could be down there.
Right? Absolutely
there could be a fucking big ass shark down there that just goes, munch. Not that sharks are that aggressive unless they're pissed off most of the time. Sharks have a bad rap, but also I don't want to be anywhere near a fucking shark.
Yeah, no.
Not because I think it's going to bite me, but because that thing's fucking creepy. Those things have lots and lots of teeth.
Yeah, they do. And it's those like box things you can go into. Those like metal box things.
Oh god, yeah.
In the sea with them. Whoa. Why would you do that? You're just
can't
asking
escape.
For it. Exactly. You cannot get out if it gets in. I don't know. What the hell?
I do like octopuses though.
Oh yeah, I like them aesthetically.
Oh yeah, I don't want anyone
to touch it
near me. Oh god, no! But I like looking at them from a distance.
I
They're
like
cool.
the symbolism, and our flag means death with it. But
yeah,
but no.
And octopuses are really smart too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, do you see...
Since this is our Halloween episode, I guess we've decided to share our deepest fears.
Deepest, darkest fears. I've got some weird stuff. My deepest, darkest fears. So... Have you got anything else for that?
No, I don't. I think I've shared enough.
Weirdly, what is that movie where that woman falls in love with that creature in the tank?
Oh god, what was that movie called?
Right.
Oh my god, what was that movie called?
I ate that movie up. I hated it.
Hang on, I'm looking because I know this guy was in it. It was fairly recent. The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water. Nah. That's weird.
I never saw it. I never watched it.
I saw it in cinema because I was genuinely so concerned about it. I saw it and I was like, I hated it. I hated it so bad. Like, I enjoyed watching it. I hated the movie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
I just think it was really dull and really, really stupid. Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on to the next question.
Let's.
Get a jolt from my electrodes. Name a book that completely shocked or surprised you.
Okay, so for this one I have put She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan.
Okay.
Because most of the book did not surprise me. What did surprise me was the...
Oh, no.
You know where I'm going.
Oh, no.
Was the unexpected, out of nowhere fisting scene that just happens. It just happens, and I didn't need it to, and nobody needed it to. It did nothing for the story, but it happened, and it came out of nowhere, and it surprised me. It surprised me. Unironically, I was like, oh!
Oh, okay.
Fisting is happening, oh god.
I have never been so happy that someone told me that happened after I DNF'd the book and didn't get to that point. Because I was just so happy.
I quite liked the rest of the book, but yeah.
Yeah. See, I got really bored after they left the monastery.
Oh, there is
and
a bit of a slow bit there. And then it was someone else's
POV.
I found...
And so I was just like...
I think book 2 was better.
Yeah.
But book 2 starts really slow.
Oh.
And also, there's like a lot... I don't know if it starts slow or if it's more that it's just like... Because it takes off right after the end of the first one.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what happened in the first book again? You know, I had that whole thing of like, wait, I can't remember anything and who all these people are.
Yeah. See, I don't know. The book just didn't do it for me.
That's
I went into the expectation of kind of like a Poppy War situation because I loved the Poppy War series. But it didn't give as much as I wish it gave. But yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't read that scene. I'm so happy.
that was a moment that surprised me.
I've gifted that book to 2 people. So I'm just glad I've made an impact on them.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah. I went in a complete opposite direction to you in this question. Mm-hmm. I'll go with my second one first because I think it's more impactful. Bunny by Mona Awad.
Oh, yeah.
It's like evil cult Barbie. But instead of Barbie, it's Bunny, because they keep calling each other Bunny. Like, hey, Bunny.
Oh.
Kind of like that. And I genuinely think you should, if you do pick this up, you go into this book as blind as possible. And I will hopefully try not to spoil the things. But, like, there's a student working on, I think is it a master's degree in something? And she has to go to workshops and stuff. And she meets, like, a cliquey group of women who wear a lot of pink, who dress in, like, dresses that have cupcakes and kittens on them.
Oh, God.
And who only eat, like, itty-bitty food, and who Twitter and coo at each other and call each other Bunny. And it's so very creepy. They are so judgmental to literally everyone around them. And it's a cult surrounded by a bunny. It's surreal to read because you don't know what the hell's going on for the 300 pages. Like, I finished the book and I was so confused, and I loved it. It's weirdly addictive.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, it's really, really weird. And for days after, I kept saying, hey, Bunny, to everyone. Hey, Bunny. But yeah, it's strange. And I must say, because that was my first Mona Awad, and I've read absolutely everything that Mona Awad has read now. I'm currently making my way through Rouge, which is her new book, which is also fantastic.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was the shocked and surprised me. Yeah, mainly because I was like, wait a minute, this is Barbie core. But cult Barbie. Did you have another one for this, or
no?
Can I go into my second one?
You can go ahead.
My second one is a trilogy of middle grades that I'm currently rereading. I'm on the second one. I read them all this year as well. I read them all in a week. I can't remember the series title, but the first one's The Haunting of Aveline Jones by Phil Hicks. It's a cozy middle grade ghost hunting book that is just so atmospheric and divine, and it takes place partly in a bookshop. Which is so fun. It's like a seaside town, and it's like a second-hand bookshop, and she's just moved in with her aunt for the summer, and it's so good. I love all three of them. They're just superb, and you know I'm rereading them. What more can I say? It's very V.E. Schwab, if you've read her middle grade ghost story as well, but this one's more like one place, not an entire city. It's more like a street.
Interesting.
That it takes place in. It's very fun. The second one's about witches, and the third one is about, like, it's also kind of like a Lovecraftian beast kidnaps them in the third one.
Nice.
Which is it's just really, really fun.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Gotta love a Lovecraftian kidnapping.
Right. Monsters in the deep dark. Yeah. They're coming.
So, number 4 is the guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. And it is name your favourite monster or villain from a book. What did you pick for this one?
I've just realised my answers are really basic here.
Well, you're going first anyway.
I've went for like my answers. I've just all gone for like horror or like kind of spooky atmospheric books. So for this, the ones that really popped out at me was Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Because like quintessentially, that is probably my favourite spooky villain of all time. That and Dorian Gray from Picture of Dorian Gray, because it's self-gaslighty awfulness and you're in the POV of the villain of the book, and I just think that's probably the best way to introduce a villain, to get the POV from them. But I don't know, I just loved I realised I've went for 2 classics here by accident.
That's fine.
Oops. But yeah, I can't really say much else because they're very, very short books. Mr. Hyde is such an evil guy. He hits a child. He breaks their leg, I believe. Oh. He gaslights their friends. He gambles away all of Dr. Jekyll's money. Dorian Gray is on drugs. He's gay but homophobic. Yeah. There's not much.
But I'm stupid.
Stupid.
Sorry.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay. That, and I did my advanced higher thesis on them. So like they're little special, evil little men to me. They're just. I could go on about their gay love for people in the story for hours, because that was mainly what I wrote about. But yeah, they're my favorite. They're both technically monsters. They're both technically monsters, because Mr. Hyde, spoiler alert, is actually Dr. Jekyll, but on a super secret medication. Who saw this coming? And Dorian Gray is kind of immortal from a haunted painting, cursed painting, whatever you're looking at. So they're both technically monsters.
I can't believe you would spoil these two very recent books like this. Very recent.
I can't believe I've done this. I'm so sorry, everyone. Yeah.
Have you ever seen... Oh, God. There was a movie, it must have been like early 2000s, of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It's ringing a bell.
It has Sean Connery in it.
It does? Oh.
And it's like he builds this team of like all these sorts of characters. So he's got, Dorian Gray is in it, and Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde is in it. Brilliant. And like the Invisible Man and all this sort of stuff. It's quite something.
That sounds brilliant.
Anyway.
The only actual physical version I've seen of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was in Once Upon a Time, that TV show.
Oh yeah,
and
I forgot that he's
them.
In that.
It's like the last season, and they're awful. They're barely in it, and I was like, what did you do to my man?
That is quite.
He's not as evil as he could be. It was.
Okay, so for me, my favorite villain has rapidly become my favorite villain from a book, or from books, in recent years. It is, of course, the one and only Jod from the Lockdown books.
Yes.
I think he's just such a brilliant villain, because he's not actually in the books that much, but he is definitely the villain, particularly of Harrow and Nona.
Yeah.
Because especially I would say in Nona.
Yeah.
And you get this backstory of him. He's telling her, his backstory of what happened to make him this immortal necromancer emperor man. And it is really sinister in a way, hearing about how he manipulated all of his friends, and then you sort of extrapolate this out into realizing that he turned all of his friends into necromancers and stuff, and changed their names and forcibly wiped their memories and all this stuff. And I just think he's such an interesting villain, and he portrays himself so much as this sad, sympathetic sort of guy. That's how he presents himself.
Absolutely.
And it's really, really good.
He looks for a lot of sympathy from
he does,
Harrow and stuff, and I'm just like, how? He basically turned his back on the entire fucking planet he was from to make himself a godlike figure, and it was so gaslighty and so horrible. I felt bad for Mercy Morn, even though I hated her guts. He's such a good villain. He's so good, especially in Nona. Those flashbacks, damn.
Absolutely incredible. Obviously, I couldn't not put Tamsin Muir on here somewhere, and then I saw this question. I was like, oh, this is literally perfect, because he is such a good villain, and I don't think, and it doesn't get talked about that much, I feel, because obviously everybody's too busy brain rotting about all the other stuff in the Lockdown books, and I'm like, I feel like we need to talk about Jod more as how well written of a villain he is.
Absolutely,
because he's just incredible.
She had it at the bar in every sense. Those books are amazing. Go read the Lockdown.
Yeah,
please. Like we say it every episode, go read the Lockdown. Question number 5. Whatever happened to the Transylvania twist? Name a book that was super hyped when it came out, but no one talks about anymore.
Okay. I don't know if you're going to be very happy about this one, but I do think it is true. And to be fair,
no.
I'm not saying anything bad about this book.
Oh, no. Okay.
Babel by R.F. Kuang.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody talk about it at all since it came out.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of hype in the run-up. There was a lot of hype when it first came out. And since then, I have seen nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really
interesting. The paperbacks just come out.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anybody talking about it.
No. Absolutely.
It's really weird. It feels like it just dropped off the face of the earth. And I think it is fair to say, actually, that this applies to most books that get a lot of hype. Is that they get a lot of hype, and everybody's really excited, and then for like a week, not even a week, like a couple of days, everybody's like, oh my god, it's so good, and then it disappears again.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But Babel was the one that came to mind, because, yeah.
I'm waiting for it to happen to Fourth Wing.
I feel like it kind of already has. I haven't seen anybody talking about Fourth Wing in like a month, at least.
It's because everyone's now gone over to, is it Divine Rivals or something? Which is fucking Dark Academia Enemies to Lovers thing. Because for some reason everyone loves that. But it
Book Talk has a lot to answer for.
I just don't trust Book Talk at all anymore. It's just awful.
We're gonna do a whole Talkin in the Tavern about Book Talk at some point.
Absolutely, we need to. Yeah. No, I agree. I liked Babel when it came out. I read it. But then, like, wasn't it like a couple months later she also released Yellowface?
I don't even think it was a couple of months. I think it was longer than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
It felt like so close together. That I
think this is the thing. It feels much closer together, but I don't think it was. Let me check.
To be fair, I did get the arc of it, so I read it months before everyone else. So that might have done it for me.
Babel came out in August of last year.
Really?
Yeah.
It feels like January last year. It feels much longer.
And Yellowface came out in May of this year. So what's that?
Wait,
September,
really?
October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So that is like 7 or 8 months.
Holy crap.
But it felt like no time at all.
No.
But I think even long, like I think even come September of last year, nobody was talking about Babel anymore.
Absolutely. No, fair enough. I haven't seen stuff about Babel in so long.
Yeah.
And the paperback's just dropped. It's the white cover for some reason that they've went with for the paperback.
Yeah, I think that's weird.
It's a bit strange. But like, yeah, it kind of has fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's just vanished. Yeah.
And like, R.F. Kuang's a good writer.
Yeah. I liked Babel.
Yeah. I forget you wrote Babel? Read Babel.
I am R.F. Kuang.
You are R.F. Kuang.
No,
oh my gosh.
I did. It's the only R.F. Kuang book I've read. And I liked it well. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I liked it well enough. I think it was good. I had issues with it, but I liked it.
Yeah. It was a solid
and then I saw
4
people saying about Yellowface that people who had the same sort of opinions as I had about Babel, saying that Yellowface had a lot of the same issues that they'd had with Babel, and I was like, I'll not bother them. Yeah.
I've since read it. I've watched a lot of videos and stuff about it, and I don't remember a lot that happens in it. I genuinely don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an alright book, but meh. I think Poppy War, you definitely should read Poppy War.
I will at some point. I definitely intend to.
You can borrow my copies, please. Please read them. They're so good. Yeah.
So, yeah, what have you put for this one?
I put Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia.
Yeah.
Because when this book came out, I got it release day because I was so excited for it because it gave me a lot of Edgar Allan Poe vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Fall of the House of Usher. T. Kingfisher actually wrote one for Fall of the House of Usher. You need to read it. It's so good. But Fall of the House of Usher vibes. And then I read it, adored it, 5 stars. And every other book release that she's done, I've not bought or read. Like, there's a new one coming out that I've no idea. But this book is just, like, perfect. One, the setting, the high place aesthetic of, like, decay and rotting was exactly the kind of atmosphere you need for a horror book. The headstrong main character, Naomi, something like that. The historical setting, loved it. And just how weird it is. The spooky, gross, like, mushroom, like, body horror trip sent me to the next plane of existence. It was amazing, and yet it's gone.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen anybody talking about it. But again, I remember a lot of people talking about it when it was coming out.
Yeah. It was... I gifted it to a lot of people. I made a lot of people read it. And now it's vanished into the ether. And it was a great book.
It was a 2020 release, so that might be part of what... Yeah.
That might do it.
That might be part of why it sort of vanished. But even so... like,
I have like one quick other point that kind of leads back to your R.F. Kuang Babel thing. Is that this book dealt with a lot of like colonialism. I cannot say colonialism. There we go. Racism and like eugenics and stuff. That was the kind of thing I thought I would see more in Yellowface, which was more of the, well, not eugenics, but like racism in Yellowface. And obviously it didn't hit as hard as Mexican Gothic did for me. It was quite the perfect spooky read for me. I loved it so much. We'll go into number 6. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. Name your favourite book that's a mashup of 2 or more genres.
Okay, so for this one, I put one of my favourite books that I've read this year so far, which is Frontier by Grace Curtis, because it is sci-fi and western, so that's a mashup. It's absolutely incredible. It's about this it's like hundreds of years in the future, and there's been no, like, most of humanity left Earth, and then for 300 years there's been no communication between like the humans who went off into space and like had a great time, and the very few humans who stayed on Earth because they thought that they had to. They had this whole belief system about how this is their like punishment for basically climate change. And now a ship crashes on Earth, and the main character gets out of an escape pod and treks across like a whole big area to try and find the ship that crashed so that she can find her girlfriend who was on the ship. And she doesn't get like a name for most of the things. She's like variously referred to as like the stranger or like the stowaway, so it's very western. It's really good. I really recommend it. It is a fantastic read.
I've been meaning to pick it up ever since you started reading it, and damn, because it's like Becky Chambers. That's all I've seen.
It definitely has
comparing it to Becky Chambers.
Definitely has Becky Chambers vibes. Yes.
Yes, I need to pick up at some point. Mine is mine's Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, because technically it's a mix of genres. Technically it's sci-fi horror.
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
So because
the only reason I didn't put that is because I'd already mentioned the Locked Tomb.
I'm gonna mention the Locked Tomb for a couple more answers here. Because sci-fi horror, if you don't know, Gideon and Harrow go off and do this kind of like competition thing. I'll say it in like the plainest terms, competition thing to get, to figure out, I don't want to say like godhood, but it's pretty much what it is.
It's effectively godhood,
Get godhood, and Gideon is the reluctant cavalier of Harrow, the protector. She doesn't want to be there. Neither Gideon really doesn't want to be there. They try and escape in like the first chapter. So good. And there's a lot of body horror. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's some. There's some in Harrow. There's a lot in Nona.
Yeah, there's definitely strong body horror in there.
I love a good bit of body horror. And, you know, it's sci-fi because they're on different planets for the entire thing. Yeah. It's great. I
feel like Gideon the Ninth, the first book, is very classic sci-fi horror. Right? Yes. It's got that sort of alien vibe going on. Where there is like monsters, creatures, you know, and they are trapped with them sort of vibe. It's definitely got that sort of classic sci-fi horror vibe. And then Harrow is like psychological thriller horror.
Yeah.
And then Nona is just chaos. Yeah. Nona's a bit gaslighty, but it's also got like coming of age and like found family and really, really like cozy domestic stuff.
And the 2 best characters in the entire series. Paulina Sextus and Camilla Hecht.
We love them so much.
They're beautiful, beautiful people.
You know,
Read the books.
I saw a Tumblr post the other day that was saying that they were like, I bet Palamedes Sextus is actually like really, really fucking sexy, but we don't know because he's only ever been described from the point of view of lesbians.
He's probably the hottest motherfucker out
there. Yeah, that's basically
space.
What they were saying. They were like, he's probably the hottest man in existence, but we don't know because everybody who's described him so far has been a lesbian.
Everyone is a lesbian in that book. Probably even Palamedes Sextus. That book, this series is traumatizing. Go read it.
Yeah. Is that everything you have to say for that one?
That's it. That's all Excellent. I put down.
Let's move on to number 7. It was a graveyard smash. What is your favourite horror novel?
I've only put one down. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Hear me out. Every couple years or so, I read Coraline by Neil Gaiman. It is the perfect cozy, spooky book. And maybe it was the cat or the child's perspective in this book that really hit my heart in the right special place. It may have teared me up at one point. But it's the quintessential cozy, spooky book that I need this time of year. Pretty much anything Neil Gaiman this time of year, to be honest. And the movie terrorized me as a child. So, I just love the book. It's so fun. It's so cute. And it's short as hell. And it's great.
Never read it, and I've never seen the movie.
What? Traitor. Absolute traitor. Leave right now, go watch it. Actually, that movie scarred me. Like, the other mother on the kind of, like, spider web, and she gets a really long neck. She was giraffing it. It is the spookiest shit ever. And it's that Tim Burton kind of, style that always creeps me out. It's so good. You need to at least read it. It's not as scary as the movie, the book. I will say.
It's not about the. It's never been like, oh, that looks too scary for me. I just haven't bothered.
See. Damn,
and I think as well, the movie, let's face it, at this point now has a lot of. There's a lot of stuff on the internet where everyone's like, oh my god, Coraline, it's so good! And that makes me want to watch it even less.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I have not watched the movie in years. I've mainly read the book. It's cute. It's just because the movie is kind of overhyped for what it was. I think it's because everyone got traumatized and then realised, oh wait, it's actually an alright movie. Yeah. And it's kind of bandwagoned it.
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what's yours?
I put, for this, Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White.
Yeah.
Because it is absolutely fucking fantastic.
It is pretty good.
It's set in like a sort of near future dystopia where there's been like this bioweapon that wiped out most of humanity, or at least most of America. Mm-hmm. And the main character is this kid who he's trans, and he has grown up in this like Christian fascist cult, and his mum is like some sort of high up figure in this cult, and he is chosen to be basically injected with a bioweapon that's going to like turn him into this big fucking monster thing, and the idea being that he would like wipe out the unbelievers and all this, and then he escapes and he finds this group of queer teens from this like queer teen support center who have been surviving. And then they like join forces and go and take out the cult, and it's fucking incredible and really powerful and absolutely fantastic, and I loved it.
Heck yeah.
And it's lots such of body horror.
Book. It's so good.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's just like body horror all the way down as well.
Yeah. Who doesn't love good body horror? And it's just like the perfect like transformational kind of body horror as well.
Yeah. It's
it's
incredible. It's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm fairly sure that was his like debut novel as well. Yeah. So I have his second one. I will read it at some point.
I hope it's good. It looks good.
Yeah. I will let you know.
Please do. Number 8. The scene was rocking. All were digging the sounds. What is your favourite song based on a book?
So, I came up with absolutely nothing for this. I can't think of any songs based on books, apart from Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush, which I could not describe as my favourite anything. So, I've just put NA for this one. Not
such
applicable.
A good song, though.
I'll just let Eve talk on this one. On you
go.
Go.
I'm about to go feral.
Yeah.
I'm about to go feral. Okay. So, we all know, a couple months, maybe not even a couple months ago, last month, there might have been a great release in the Hosier fandom. That was the Unreal Unearth album, which is based on Dante's Inferno and like 2 other books. This fucking record is so amazing, and how they explain the Dante's 9 Circles of Hell, and it framed the entire album, which is crazy. I think they focus on like gluttony and heresy. Oh my god,
those are 2 very different things.
Yeah.
Are we talking heresy or hearsay? Because those are different
hearsay.
things.
I can Heresy.
That's heresy.
Heresy. Oh my gosh. I have it noted down. I can't read, okay? And it's light, playful, it's a collection of songs, but it's so good. The themes into the 9 circles, the reflections, the descent and ascent, and it's my favorite thing that's ever happened. I ate it. And I read, literally before it came out, I read Dante's Inferno, just so I could sit and listen to it for hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? I could say more, but I will go more feral.
I'm glad that you had something to say for that one.
Yeah, no, that's me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, wait a minute. I paused my re-listen to Unreal Unearth and went, I wonder what I could put. Wonder what I could say. I could go into it more, but I won't make you listen to me do that.
For more of Eve's thoughts on that, I'm sure they'll put something on Twitter or TikTok or somewhere.
My Twitter might have been a little unhinged during the release day. There was memes. I professed my love a bit too enthusiastically to Hosier Andrew Burt.
Okay.
Andrew Hosier, wrong way around.
Anything else for that one? Okay,
no,
so
that's it.
question 9 is, tell them Boris sent you. What is your go-to book recommendation?
The Locked Tomb by Tamsin Muir.
Fair. Yeah.
Oh, you like sci-fi? Locked Tomb.
Uh-huh.
You're gay.
Uh-huh.
Locked Tomb. You're not gay.
Yeah.
Locked Tomb. You like horror.
Yeah.
Locked Tomb. You like books. Locked Tomb.
Yep.
It's read the Locked Tomb. Read it. I made a list. Go read it. It's perfect. We already talk about it. I'll like too much. Well, not too much. It's never enough.
Never enough. Never. Anyway.
Enough.
I don't think we've managed to do a single episode of Hearth and Tome without mentioning either the Locked Tomb
Tamsin Muir
or Becky Chambers. Which is why my answer to this question is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers.
Yes!
Because again, if you like sci-fi,
absolutely.
You'll like this. If you're gay, this is incredible. It's gay. If you're not gay, read it anyway. And if you want something that's a bit more cozy than The Locked Tomb, then this is the answer. Because
a lot more less traumatizing.
Every single one of Becky Chambers' books is like super character focused. They're all really like gentle and cozy and wholesome and deep and incredible.
A Sam for the Wild Built as well. I'll throw that in because that's my I will say that's my favorite Becky Chambers book.
Yeah, that's fair. But I always
really
recommend The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
Absolutely.
It's like,
no, fair enough. It is a fantastic book.
It's like the entry point in my mind. I'm like, read
absolutely
all of the Wayfarers books. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Closed in Common Orbit, Record of a Spaceborne Few, and The Galaxy and the Ground Within. And then read To Be Taught If Fortunate, because that's fucking fantastic as well.
Also really good.
And then also go and read A Psalm for the Wild Boat and A Prayer for the Crown Shy, because again, fucking fantastic. I have not been let down by Becky Chambers a single time.
She always hits so
She's
hard.
Absolutely fucking incredible writer. I cannot wait to see what she does next.
We'll go on to our last question of this tag, which is the bonus question. What is your favourite thing about Halloween? Ooh.
For me, okay, I think my favourite thing about Halloween is working in the bookshop and getting to get all the Halloween decorations out and make the bookshop look like spooky and vibey for Halloween.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably my favourite thing about Halloween. But in a very, very close second is all of the really hyper-specific Halloween songs, including the Monster Mash, that you just don't play at any other time of year. And it makes me very happy.
Do you not play it year round?
No.
Speaking of Scary Skeletons, I play like year round.
But yeah, I think decorating the bookshop and getting all of our like decorations and stuff out for sale, and also getting to do this year, you and I got to do the Halloween decoration order, which was just
that was so good.
Such a highlight, especially because in the bookshop, a certain holiday that comes after Halloween lasts for like 4 fucking months in that bookshop, because we have to get all the stupid cards out and then the decorations and all this
bloody
stuff.
Christmas cards are
we have to, because other people get them out and we have to make money from them.
But they're right next to the Halloween table.
Yeah.
It's illegal. It's illegal.
And so I extra appreciate Halloween because it's like a buffer, right? Like if we didn't have Halloween, we would already have Christmas decorations out. So I'm always like, I appreciate Halloween as like an extra buffer, because I love Christmas. I really do. But when it lasts for 4 months, that's too much.
I hate Christmas music with a mighty passion.
It's because you're a fucking Grinch.
I am a Grinch, and I will stand by my Grinchness. I don't like it. Well, I like giving presents to people. I like that. I like doing that, but like... And I like watching How to Train Your Dragon on Christmas Day. Because that's I do that like every year. It's just me watching How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's less of like a Christmas thing and more of an Eve thing.
That's more of an Eve thing. But I watch all 3 movies on Halloween on Christmas Day just to make myself feel better. Okay, it's because it's not my favorite holiday. Halloween is because.
What's your favorite thing about Halloween Eve? As if you could pick just one.
My first point is everything. I love the pageantry that is dressing up. I cannot choose this year. I'm stuck between Mimikyu, the Pokemon, Ianth from the Locked Tomb, and a Zero-Fail from Good Omens. And I can't pick which one I want to do.
If you ask me, you should do the Locked Tomb because Breach and I are going to do Palamedes and Camilla. So
yes! You're gonna look so good.
Because Breach has the hair now for Camilla, so...
This is true.
I was like, well, now we can do this. So if you do
I will have to get a wig
as well, then that would be fantastic.
But it's also like the horror movies and the creepy books that I read way too close to night and feel like I'm being watched. I'm looking at you, A House with Good Bones. But you creep me the hell out. And I bake a lot, and I love cinnamon and nutmeg cupcakes or apple pies, and I bake pretty much everything. I will bake you stuff, I promise, at some point. I will shove cake your way.
Waiting.
Oh my god. I love everything about Halloween. And plus, there's spooky cocktails as well that I'm trying out.
Oh yeah. Fun times.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, right? There's so much baking opportunity at Christmas too.
Yeah. That's true, but I'm not I don't like the stereotypical Christmas cake. I don't like it.
That's sad.
It's fine. But you know what I do love is the little pies.
Mince pies.
Mince pies. Mince fucking pies are the best thing ever.
Love them so much you
and
can't
they're already out
remember what
in Tesco. Nope, they're already out in Tesco, and I've got 3 boxes downstairs.
Oh, see, I do not ever buy shop bought mince pies. because my mum makes the greatest mince pies in existence. I've literally... They are so fucking good every single year.
Are they?
And it makes the shop-bought ones taste absolutely fucking rank in comparison.
Oh,
so
no.
I refuse
I've never
to
made
buy
them. I need to make
shop-bought
them.
ones. My mum, she has like... She goes like full fucking industrial every year. She's
nice.
got like a big massive mixing bowl that only gets used for the mince pie mixture. And then she makes like so many mince pies, and then most of them go in the freezer so that they'll last. She makes like so many, it's incredible. I'll see if I can nab you one, so that you can taste them.
That'd be so good.
But I will warn you
that
that once you've tasted it, you won't want any of the shop bought ones ever again.
I can't go back.
You can't go back.
No.
So that was our Monster Mash book tag. Our spooky season Talkin in the Tavern.
Yeah.
We will have another Talkin in the Tavern next month. And obviously we've got book club coming out in a couple of weeks. We did A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. That will be coming out on Halloween.
Adored.
Go listen to that. That's fantastic. And obviously we'll have our November book club and our December book club. December, I'm putting this out here now again. December, we will not have a normal Talkin in the Tavern. We have a little something special for you in December.
Yes.
And
I'm clicking away at it.
And in January, which I know is like a bit of a way away, but we're just laying the groundwork. We're preparing you now. We will not have a book club. But we will have a Talkin in the Tavern, which will be our 2023 like reading roundup. So we'll go through like our top 10s and like favourites, least favourites, all that sort of good shit. And then we'll be back on like normal schedule in February. But yes, make sure to keep an eye on the podcast feed for upcoming episodes of all of our goodness.
I'm so excited for the Halloween episode.
I would also just like to sprinkle in a little something here. I want to give a good shout out to Eve's friend, who I don't know their name, who said that I what was the word they used? Articulate. I don't know where you got that idea, but I appreciate it anyway.
Do you think you have coherent thoughts? I'm so proud.
An interesting opinion. I appreciate the feedback. I'm not entirely convinced that it's true, but thank you.
But yeah. Oh, so sweet, the review. But yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Talking in the Tavern. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Beans and Fungi. Super duper simple. Where can we find you, Eve?
I am at Cozy Crow with an S on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. Find me over there.
And make sure to follow the podcast. We're on Instagram at Hearth and Tome Pod, Twitter at Hearth and Tome, and TikTok at Hearth.and.tome. And we've already started putting up little like bits and bobs there. We've got some clips that have gone up on TikTok. We've got some little like book club promo things that have gone up on TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that good shit.
Go check out.
You know.
So thank you for listening for this episode of the Hearth and Tome Tavern. Please come back, check us out for our book club episode on the 31st of October, Halloween. Can't wait. Woo! We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
The music used within this episode was Wholesome by Kevin MacLeod. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license from incompetech.com.